Rich Van Tassel back with you, getting right back into it with the Week 14 game picks. Up next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at 7-5. They're traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bengals at 10-2. Injuries first for the visiting Steelers. William Gay, cornerback, questionable. Heath Miller, tight end, is probable. For the Bengals, Adam Jones, their cornerback and punt returner, is questionable. Tyler Eifert, their tight end, is probable. With Cincinnati at 10-5, they can win the division with a victory. Pittsburgh is in the middle of the wild card race. They're one of the teams at 7-5, along with the Jets and the Kansas City Chiefs. So, big game both ways. Pittsburgh can certainly give themselves an outside shot with a victory today at the division, or on Sunday at the division, but they are more focused on the wild card at this point. Ben Roethlisberger, how healthy is he going to be? It appears he's going to play. Has put up quality numbers when he has been on the field. Does have a few too many interceptions. Does have 9 interceptions. Antonio Brown and Martavis Bryant have been dangerous in the passing game for Pittsburgh, so that's going to be a tough matchup for Cincinnati to handle. Leon Hall is their best cornerback. You have Drake Kirkpatrick as well, so those guys are going to have their hands full. A.J. Green is certainly going to make it difficult for the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. I'd like to see if Cortez Allen, the big cornerback for Pittsburgh, can really match up against A.J. Green. This is a game where you would expect Cincinnati to win, but I'm not. I'd like Pittsburgh to go in on the road and show Cincinnati they have the toughness that a lot of people have questioned Cincinnati not having. I don't think Cincinnati is that same team. I do think they do have some toughness this year, but Pittsburgh is going to show it in a desperate game, and they're going to win a relatively low-scoring game, especially with the way these two teams' offenses are playing. It's going to be a classic Pittsburgh Steelers game. I like it in the area of 21-16, and I think that Cincinnati is obviously going to have trouble finding the end zone in this game. Okay, next up, Indianapolis Colts at 6-6 travel to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars, who are 4-8. Injuries for the visiting Colts: Nate Irving, their linebacker, is on injury reserve. Philip Dorsett, wide receiver, probable. Matt Hasselbeck, quarterback, probable. Jarrell Freeman, linebacker, out. DeQuell Jackson, linebacker, questionable. Now, I'm guessing Jacksonville's listing no injuries. Now, I'm expecting that Andrew Luck is going to be available to go since he's not listed, and Matt Hasselbeck is probable as a backup. Indianapolis at 6-6. They are tied with the Houston Texans for atop that AFC South division. They're also in the thick of the wild card, a game back of that 7-5 logjam. Luck has had a lot of interceptions this year. Frank Gore is starting to really tail off. It looks like age is starting to catch up with him, so I don't know where they're going to find many of their points on offense. They got blasted by the Steelers last Sunday night, so this is an interesting game for the Indianapolis Colts. Can they get it back together? They're traveling to play a weaker team, but an improved team in the Jaguars, who have lost 2 straight after they thought they were right back into it. So it's not going to be easy for the Indianapolis Colts in this game, but this team has shown the propensity to win big games throughout the Andrew Luck, Chuck Pagano era, and I expect them to win this one. I don't think it's going to be easy. I expect it to be sloppy. Both ways, I expect Andrew Luck to commit turnovers, but I also expect Blake Bortles to commit some turnovers as well. He's probably going to throw the ball pretty well, Blake Bortles that is, against that weak Indianapolis secondary. But again, I'm expecting Indianapolis to find a way to win this game. 31-27 in favor of the Indianapolis Colts to get a big win on the road. All right, next up, the San Diego Chargers at 3-9 travel to Kansas City to play the Chiefs, who are 7-5. Chiefs have won 6 straight games. They are really rolling right now, and very much under the radar, even with a 6-game winning streak. For the San Diego Chargers, the injuries: Phillip Rivers, their quarterback, probable. Dontrell Inman, wide receiver, questionable. Stevie Johnson, wide receiver, questionable. For the Chiefs, Justin Houston, linebacker, questionable. DeAnthony Thomas, wide receiver, questionable. Alan Bailey, defensive end, probable. Very interesting game here. San Diego has shown they can put up points. Phillip Rivers, we've discussed a lot. He is throwing the ball a ton this year, almost at 4,000 yards already. Conversely, Alex Smith, not even at 3,000 yards, only has 14 touchdowns, but has really minimized his interceptions. Charkandrick West is really coming back down, and they're in need of someone to fill the void with Jamal Charles. They haven't found it, but they're winning anyway. Jeremy Maclin for the Chiefs, productive year, 66 receptions, 867 yards, and 5 touchdowns. But Kansas City has shown they're not really throwing the ball that much this year and still finding ways to win. Going to be dangerous. You look at Justin Houston as questionable. If he can't go, that could be a problem, not getting any pressure on Phillip Rivers. And I'm expecting the Chargers to really give the Chiefs fits in this game and come away with an upset victory on the road as the Chiefs come back down after winning those 6 games. I just think San Diego is due for a win, and Phillip Rivers is going to have one of his better games here. So I'm taking the San Diego Chargers over the Kansas City Chiefs, 28-24. Going to be a really tough loss for the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, the Washington Redskins at 5-7 travel to Chicago to play the Bears, who are 5-7. Washington in the NFC East, as is everyone in that division. Chicago basically has to win out if they want any shot at the wild card. Injuries first, visiting Redskins. Keenan Robinson, linebacker. Derek Carrier, tight end. Jason Hatzer, defensive end, all questionable. Chris Thompson, running back, doubtful. Will Compton, linebacker, probable. For the Bears, Pernell McPhee, defensive end, doubtful. Zach Miller, tight end. Eddie Royal, wide receiver. Antrell Roll, safety. And Tracy Porter, cornerback, are questionable. Washington, off that tough defeat on Monday night, a short week to think about it. They have not been a good team on the road, so we'll see if they can break away from that. They had been a very good home team and lost to the Cowboys on Monday night, so we'll see if they can now reverse the script on the road. Going to be very interesting. Tracy Porter as questionable, as well as Antrell Roll, going to be a suspect secondary for the Bears in this game. So look for Deshaun Jackson to really go downfield and give fits to the Chicago Bears in this game. Difficult one to pick. I think Washington is really going to come out and be game, but I'm expecting Chicago to get the win. I think Kirk Cousins is going to commit a few too many turnovers on the road, as he's shown the tendency to do all season long here. I am picking the Chicago Bears in a close game, 23-20. All right. Atlanta at 6-6, traveling to Carolina to play the 12-0 Panthers. Injuries for the Falcons, who are the visiting team. Matt Bryant, their kicker, is out. Julio Jones, wide receiver, and Jacob Tamme, tight end, probable. Charles Tillman, defensive back, doubtful. Brenton Burson, the wide receiver, is questionable. We've talked about Cam Newton all season long. His numbers were not very impressive at the beginning of the year as far as throwing, but this team was winning. Now he's really starting to throw the ball well, and it showed last week against the New Orleans Saints when they had that wild win. So he's really becoming very dangerous. The Atlanta Falcons, after that 5-1 start, are 1-5. They're in desperation mode right now to get a win and keep their fading playoff hopes alive. And I think they're going to do just that. I know I picked Carolina to lose last week against a lesser team in the New Orleans Saints. It was pretty close. Certainly New Orleans was going to come out to play. Atlanta is desperate. Carolina hasn't shown really any let-up this year. So you got to be impressed with that at 12-0, but I don't think they're going to go 16-0. And if there's a time for them to lose, it would be now in this desperate game for the Atlanta Falcons. I am picking the Atlanta Falcons to win this game. Going to be high scoring, and look for Julio Jones to have a big day. He's already over 100 receptions and well over 1,300 yards, only the 6 touchdowns, but he's going to be explosive in this game. And I am picking the Atlanta Falcons to get the upset and end Carolina's undefeated season on the road. 34-30 in a wild game. The Panthers will play another one. Okay, the Seattle Seahawks at 7-5, traveling to Baltimore to play the 4-8 Ravens. Injuries for the Seahawks. Marshawn Lynch, running back, is out. Marlon Brown, this is for the Baltimore Ravens now. Marlon Brown, wide receiver. Crockett Gilmore, tight end, are questionable. Max Williams, the tight end, is probable. Matt Schaub, the quarterback, is questionable. So immediately we got to look at Matt Schaub. That he's already the backup quarterback. Is it necessarily a bad thing if he doesn't play, because he has that streak of games where he keeps throwing pick sixes? So who knows, but I don't think the backup is going to be much better either. So really tough game for Baltimore. Seattle is playing very well. I worry a bit about the west to east travel, but they're a veteran team. They should be able to handle it. I thought they would come out and really pound the Ravens had Arizona lost last night, knowing that the door was open. They still have a shot at the division. Again, they have to win out, and Arizona has to lose out. But they're certainly right in there for the wild card as well. They can't afford to throw away any games, especially to a bad team on the road. Expect Seattle to establish themselves early in this game. Even without Marshawn Lynch, Thomas Rawls has shown he's more than capable to pick up the load. And I'm expecting Russell Wilson to have a very good game as Seattle continues to march along, and this will be on to their 4th straight victory. Seattle, 28-10. Baltimore is really going to struggle.